Hello, hello. Diana and Pep here. We're choosing joy. Today we're choosing joy. And today it was a hell of a lot more work than it usually is. So I wanted to come on here and say, geez, everybody says you can choose happiness and you can choose joy. Well, guess what? It's just as easy to choose anxiety, depression, and sadness. And today, this is the subject I wanted to talk about. But when I woke up this morning, choosing to be happy wasn't as easy as I thought. So I decided to come out here where life is always happy and choose happiness, like we say, is easy to do. But I really want to talk about the fact that not choosing happiness, well, hell, that sometimes is a whole lot easier. And I remember for years and years, my mom has always, my mom and I don't get along real well. Haven't for years. We don't speak at all now. We never will, but that's another video. But she's always been one that felt bad for everybody else, it seemed. Like, oh, so-and-so has the weight of the world on their shoulders, and so-and-so has to worry about bills, and so-and-so has to worry about work, and so-and-so has this, and so-and-so has their children. Everybody else had their issues. And I remember one time feeling sorry for myself and saying, hey, Mom, is there a reason why it's always poor her and poor this and poor that, and nobody says poor Diana? Actually, my family calls me Susie, so nobody's saying poor Susie. Nobody's, I got the same weight of the world on my shoulders. I have the same bills to pay. I'm an unmarried woman taking care of a big home and animals and everything, so I don't have somebody to share those worries with or those responsibilities with. There aren't two of us carrying my load. So why is it you're always so sympathetic of everybody else, but you've never been sympathetic of my plight or what I'm going through? Or said, hey, Susie, are you doing okay? Hey, Susie, do you need anything? And my mom said something to me that was super impactful. It's stuck with me forever, for as long as she said it. And she said, well, that's because you always act like everything's fine. You always seem happy. You don't ever seem stressed out. You never complain. It seems like the world is always your oyster. And I thought, I guess, like I told my mom, I don't think it would do me any good to not have that kind of a positive outlook. For me not to say when somebody says, hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm doing fantastic. Would I be, if I felt like shit and I said I'm doing fantastic, would it help me at all to say, God, I'm just sad. I'm tired of this quarantine. I can't wait to go out to dinner one of these evenings and have somebody wait on me. I don't care if it's just to bring me extra ketchup, but I'm sick and tired of cooking at home, being home day in and day out, and dinner at home and movies used to be my favorite thing. Now what I wouldn't give to go out to dinner and watch a movie. So things, I'm going through the same as everybody else, but I've just never been one that found that complaining about my situation helps it. So why not, if complaining doesn't help it, why not just fake it and go, oh my gosh, I'm doing fantastic. So that brings me to, I'm somebody that I really admire and I follow on Instagram and stuff like that, and she's motivating, but she's really and constantly since this started talking about depression and anxiety and fear. And I'm watching her thinking, whatever you dwell on is what you get in return. And so if she is talking to her community and her audience every day about anxiety and fear and depression, to me, the reflection is that is something that she's struggling with. And she's been very honest to say that she's struggling with that. But the way I think from watching it is to keep talking to her community about it isn't making it any easier for her. It's not a solution. It can't be any relief to talk about anxiety, fear, and depression all day, every day. Because what pulled me out of my funk today was that I wanted to address this to all of you, and I was in a funk. So I thought, well, should I wait till I'm just in a great mood? And then I thought, no, I can choose to be happy. I can choose to get out there and be excited about the day. I can choose fun and happiness. And sometimes it's not just a matter of changing our mind, it's a matter of changing our location. So as goofy as it sounds, I put my tripod, my speaker, got on my horse, and I came out. I'm really not far from home. I am going to go on a long ride when I'm done. But it was a matter of getting my body in motion, changed the way that I felt. Getting the horse caught, tacked up, groomed, putting the saddle, getting everything done. Really got me excited to talk to people about, wow, you can choose to be happy, period. You can also choose not to be happy. So it is your choice. I know that there's a lot of people that say anxiety is a medical condition and depression's a medical condition, and I have the utmost respect for those kind of issues. But I also think that the majority of the time, if you put a label on it, it makes it okay to experience it and dwell on it. It's like saying you've got the flu. If you go to the doctor and you find out you've got the flu, well, then you feel perfectly fine laying in bed feeling like shit for 3 to 4 days. You just do. And if anybody says anything, of course I got nothing done. Of course my house is a mess. I've got the flu. So I have a right to sit around and do nothing. It's the same exact thing with like anxiety and depression. Once there's a label, I'm anxious, I have anxiety, or I have depression, you can sit around and wallow in your anxiety and back float in your depression and not pull yourself out of it. Because after all, you have a label. So I'm just huge on not labeling, especially with children. I don't think that children, if they get a medical kind of label, I don't think it should ever be said to the child, because then it's an excuse. I remember one time my stepson was seeing a therapist, and I'm trying to remember the exact example. It was something like the therapist had said something to him along the lines of, darn it, I can't remember, but they gave him the excuse. Basically, they gave him a free ticket. Oh, that's what it was. It's okay that he acts out. That's him struggling with some stuff inside. Don't take it personal. So he gets in trouble at home, and he instantly says, well, you can't take it personal, because the therapist said that my behaving like this isn't an attack against you. It's just what I'm doing for whatever the reason is. And I remember thinking, I would not pay that therapist a frickin' dime labeling a child and then letting the child hear the label. Sometimes there's medical issues. I get that. And yes, there might be a label. Children don't need to know it. Children don't need to know they're dyslexic. Parents need to figure out how to educate and teach a child that's dyslexic without telling the child that that's an issue that they have. I know I might get a lot of backlash for all of this, but that's just the way I feel. And it's my channel. So I am on here to say that as I'm visiting with you guys, and as I'm out here in the sunshine, and as I'm standing next to my absolute favorite horse of my whole entire life, I chose to be happy, but I didn't wake up this way. And especially with tough times like we have right now, everybody is so understanding if you're sad, and understanding if you're angry, and understanding if you're anxious. Bullshit. This has been going on for weeks. So if you're still anxious, sad, and upset, figure something out. Get out in the nice weather. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Go for a swim. Take a cold shower. Move your body to change your mind. Put yourself in a different situation. You can talk yourself into happiness. Well, alrighty. I just learned a very valuable lesson. I had an incoming call, and I thought if I ignored it, that the video would keep on going, and that isn't the case. This morning, I sit down to edit, only to find right in the middle of a thought, my daughter called and it cut off. Now, instead of trying to capture the same energy that I had about the subject yesterday, My mind works to thinking, fuck it. The universe probably thought I was going to say something that would offend yet again more people. So I figure if I got cut off right in mid-rant, there's probably a reason. I'm pretty sure that my point was made. I didn't want to end and just like, bah. So I want to say, if you guys like this, if it resonates with you at all, I would love your comments. I would love a like and a subscribe to the channel. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay surrounded by loved ones, and most of all, stay grateful for all of your blessings.